All right, hello everyone. My name is Pavlo Vedilin, and I represent the localization department of ELEKS software. Our company has been successful on the localization market for many years and gained an extensive experience in this area. Today, we would like to share our knowledge with you. I'm very glad that you have found time to attend to our webinar. Let's take a brief look at what we are going to talk about during the next 30 minutes. Yes, now according to plan, I should present you an agenda, but I don't have it. We decided not to test your patience with the slides common for such webinars and not to torture your brain with complicated definitions and terms. Today, we will concentrate on a live demo and, as it goes, we will discuss testing approaches, problems, and their solutions. All right, the main topic of the webinar is the localization testing. From our point of view, to test localization means to ensure that the quality of the localized product meets all the requirements and standards of the original version. Just a second. All right, yeah, that's better. All right, so from our point of view, to test localization means to ensure that the quality of the localized product meets all the requirements and standards of the original version. It requires I'm sorry, it seems that we are having some technical issues. No, I hope it's all right now. It should work. All right, where were I? From our point of view, to test localization means to ensure that the quality of the localized products meets all the requirements and standards of the original version. It requires a constant comparison between the original and test product. However, when product is localized into multiple languages, the process becomes steady repetition of the same actions. That brings up the question, is it possible to spare expenses if making at least some of this work on all environments simultaneously? This question is far from new. There have been said a lot and written a lot about it, and many approaches have been suggested for solving this problem. Let us take a look at it from another point of view, point of parallelism. Although parallel localization testing is a fairly new method, the software market already offers a sufficiently wide range of tools for it. In our case, we will consider the software product called SyncTest, which helped our company save a lot of time and resources. I suppose that during my speech you have already had a chance to examine the main window of SyncTest, SyncTest Center. What's the basic idea behind it? Well, first of all, the major objective of parallel testing is to make it possible for one engineer to cope with the workload of several engineers. It makes SyncTest a client-server application where SyncTest Center is a controlling server. So let's connect the clients now. Right. Yep. So we have prepared the clients in advance, so we will not show you the process of setting them up, as it is simple, intuitive, and can even be automated by means of PowerShell. Thus, now we have the master computer and client computers. By the way, the number of clients is unlimited. So let's arrange them on the screen. So English is going to be a master, and all the clients will be docked to a workspace. Like this. Right. Okay. And it goes here. and it goes here. All right. Now everything is ready for work, so we can start. Let's review the parallel testing of the desktop application by using SyncTest. For a start, it is worth mentioning the major principle of parallel testing: synchronization of actions replicated on client computers. It means that such approach as parallel testing can be used only when the program output in response to user actions are absolutely predictable. In other words, there will be no generation of random events or results, which is common in computer games. Most of desktop applications start from the installer. The installer localization testing with multiple languages is time-consuming and resource-intensive. Parallel testing approach using SyncTest allows facilitating this process. One engineer can execute the work of several specialists in the meantime. So let's start the setup. All right. So you can see that here they are displayed too. All right, so I'll click next. Then I'll click agree. All right. Okay. So in our case, the installer is simple. However, the more complex the test product is, the more complicated its installer can be. It will result in increasing the expenses for the standard manual testing. Under these circumstances, the parallel testing approach will considerably facilitate the testing process. So, let us wait until the installation is complete on all the machines, and then we are going to proceed. Okay, so one more. Okay, that's good. So I'll click finish, and as you can see, the application has launched on every machine. Right, so usually the testers have to use mock files or test data for working with the product. The copying process of these files to each test computer can take time. And here again, we can take advantage of the parallel testing using SyncTest. SyncTest Center allows replicating files to all clients simultaneously. And we can do it here. Push this button, and then navigate to a file, open. All right. So I'll open this file now. Okay. Open. All right. So now we can use this file for our test case. As the test case goes, we will take screenshots which later will be used for logging bugs in the tracking system. These screenshots might also be used by linguists to check the quality of the translation. It is easier and cheaper to give the translators the screenshots for checking than to teach them how to work with the project independently. It is especially important when the test product requires serious technical knowledge. SyncTests allows simultaneously taking screenshots on all clients in different modes: the whole desktop, active window, the whole web page. You can adjust those settings here. And I'll take the first one. Right. Also, we will capture on a video that might be used when logging bugs. This video will considerably facilitate the process of bug reproducing for the engineer who will be fixing it. Right. So now let's proceed to our test case. Now I'll start video capturing. Yep. So here I should mention the modes of replication that enable SyncTest make the testing parallel. There are three modes. The first is controls mode, image mode, and mirror mode. Often, to make the work more effective, one needs to use all the three, combining them as the test case runs. At the moment, we will click the menu in control mode. So, okay, and I'll capture a screenshot of it. Right. Control mode defines control that was selected on the master computer and tries to locate it on the client. However, there is a great many of interface design techniques and plenty of them are difficult to detect. In this case, we can use image mode. So I'll use it now and click resize. Alright, and I'll capture a screenshot of it too. Okay. When using image mode, we screenshot the area under the mouse cursor and search for the same area with certain accuracy on the client computers. The screenshot size can be adjusted right here. The accuracy of this detection can be adjusted here. And as you can see, it is balanced now. I'll just... Alright. Next, we are going to change the image size. To do this, we will use resize mode in percentage. Since the controls on the dialog box are identical and at the same place, we can use the mirror mode. In mirror mode, SyncTest performs coordinate clicks on client desktops. So I'll click it now. Okay. Moreover, if the screen resolution on the master and client computers are different, coordinate clicks will be adjusted considering the difference. Okay. Now I'll enter 50%. Keyboard input will work on all clients, and I'll capture a screenshot of it and click OK. So as you can see, all the actions were replicated on the slave machines too. So let's assume that our test case is complete, and let's see the results. I'll just stop the video capture. Okay. And now we can proceed to results. And as you can see, we can see screenshots, all that I've made, in the separate folders for every machine. And they're all here. Okay, and then we're going to see the video. And as you can see, the video is present too. All right. Okay, so SyncTest parallel testing of desktop application is appropriate not only for localization. It is also useful in smoke testing and program testing on various OS versions and different CPU architectures. Also, it is possible to perform program testing on computers with different configuration and at the same time compare the results of hardware load. Another use of parallel testing and SyncTest is web application testing. So I'll close this. Yeah, I don't want to say this. By the way, the load of the computers you can see here. All right, so yeah. So in web application testing, control mode is often out of use. The reason is that the most of websites are designed with the dynamic content using Flash, Silverlight, or other similar technologies. So now let's try to perform the same test case on online graphic editor. The graphic editor has been developed using Flash. It is, in our particular experience, we haven't found another way to test Flash except manually. In fact, it is impossible to make it automatic. However, due to image mode, mirror mode, and ability to replicate the work with the keyboard in SyncTest, many test cases can be performed in parallel. As in previous episode, let's perform the following test case. Take screenshots of menu items, then open image scaling dialog and take screenshot of it. For convenience, we will create a separate folder for web screenshots in SyncTest Center. Okay, so new folder, let's call it web. Okay, select folder. All right. As mentioned earlier, the app was developed using Flash, therefore control mode won't work here. So we can just click on the first menu item using mirror mode, like this. All right. because the first element is always at the same place regardless of the localization, and continue moving through the menu using the keyboard. I'll just take a screenshot of it, and then I'm going to use the keyboard. Okay, so next screenshot, and next one more. Okay, I think that's enough. So let us open our image. Open. I'm going to select the image and open. All right. And change its size. Okay, I'll capture another screenshot of the dialog. So I'll uncheck smoothing in the image mode, and I'll check constraint proportions in the image mode. All right, and then I'll enter 50%. Okay. So as you can see, result is replicated on every other computer too. And so let's assume that that test case is complete too. So let's see the results. And again, you can see that we have all the screenshots in the corresponding folders, and they are all here. Right. On the face of it, the process looks rather complicated because of frequent switching between modes. In practice, the use of hotkeys makes life easier. Configuration of hotkeys is pretty intuitive. Alt plus the first letter of the mode name. However, they can be configured in any other way you find convenient. And it can be done again in settings, hotkeys. You can configure all the hotkeys here. Yeah. All right, so parallel testing of web is not limited only by localization testing. It is very convenient to test the page layout quality on different browsers in parallel, which is known as cross-browser testing. Well, all right, so at the end of our webinar, let's take a break and play a bit. And right away, let's see how to use parallel testing in game localization. Previously, we presented a webinar related to this subject where we talked about the localization testing of desktop and mobile games right on the devices. Today, we will try testing mobile games localization through emulators. So I'll just remove all the clients from here, and I'll add this too. Okay. So again, English is our master, and we'll dock this here. Okay. I bet many of you recognize the game. The game is launched on Android emulator. Parallel testing of game localization is largely similar to testing of the website with lots of flash content. It means that the main tools will be image and mirror modes. So let's try and play it. Oh, sorry. All right. Okay. And 5. Okay. So then it goes up. Pop. Yay. So testing of game localization objects are similar to desktop or web application testing. We should check the correct display of interface elements, efficiency, translation quality. The last one is extremely important for games, so linguists should pay special attention to the translation. Cut the row perfectly suits for parallel testing with the help of SyncTest, because the result of the player's actions will be the same on the all tested devices. However, as often happens during the game, the results might be influenced by some unpredictable factors. For example, when the success of enemy forces' attack is calculated by a random value between the minimum and maximum weapon damage, or when there is a random chance of failing to hit. In such cases, unsynchronization between the computers may occur. It makes parallel testing difficult or even impossible to implement. Well, alright, so this concludes our meeting for today. Thank you for your attention, and hope everyone enjoyed the webinar.